Hey man, let's talk about struggles now because while you were still having this, those are back to back. Some actually even with the Aaron Simpson, right? Yeah, I mean that's boom 3 in a row, dude. You were looking, you had some great fights, and you were still partying then, yes or no?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
Vanderlei, I cleaned up my act a little better than other. I think fear.
yeah.
Fear can be pretty motivating.
Yes. I get that'll make you skip happy hour when you got the
That's
axe
it.
murderer starting to fight you. Yeah, that's funny.
So
So all right, you cleaned up a little bit for that, but otherwise you're still getting results, right? So it's almost like why should you clean up your act?
and it's one of those things too, where hindsight. You look back and people always go, "God, can you imagine if you were sober for all those fights?" And I go, "Yeah, but why? Why imagine it? Who knows? Could have been way better. Could have been worse. Maybe it had something to do with not caring the way that I fought. I
Yeah,
just I didn't really care, and I didn't take anything too like I was serious, but I was just going out and fighting to the death, and that was and I wonder if being sober would have made that better, or the stress and nerves would have made me try to be too calculated. How do you tell?
but you know what's wild is that like and I heard you talk about this because you've always had that Bushido, that warrior spirit. And then, and I was surprised when it happened. And every fight is its own separate thing in itself. It's not like the fight before, the fight before that. Everything is its own, not only physically, but especially mentally. Every fight is unique. And when you fought Uriah Hall, it killed you not to answer the bell, I believe, in the third round. Is that what? And now, could you just? I hate to relive bad shit, but we got through it, and the story ends up very happy for you. So I just
Yeah,
want to
so
relive some of this shit because you got
that was the
past this.
last fight. That was the last fight in my UFC career. Um, I had lost a lot of the fire. I had I was in a shitty relationship. I was battling with drugs and alcohol. My life outside of the gym and outside of the cage was absolutely in shambles. Uh, and I just didn't care. It was a different kind of didn't care. Where when I first got to the UFC, yeah, sure, I was partying and stuff. I didn't care. I didn't care if I lived or died. I just wanted people to remember my name.
Yeah,
I was just a kid that everybody expected to amount to nothing. So I was running on spite for the
yeah,
majority of my career. Fuck you! I'm going to prove you wrong. I am worth something. You know, and through my career, I got a lot of that. And then towards the end of my career, my last few fights, I just, particularly that last one, I didn't want to be there.
yeah,
I didn't want to do it. And it was, I tell the other part of the story, it was obviously the drugs or alcohol because, both, um, because I quit.
yeah,
And for me, being the guy that was going to go out there and die, to look back, it was extremely haunting. It was very depressing,
yeah.
So then, after that fight, Dana called me and basically said, "Hey, I think you should probably retire." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." After that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Not doing that a fucking again,
now,